The university system run by the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, known as Brigham Young University, has been on a purity campaign, forcing some professors to make impossible choices of whether to lie to keep their jobs. Reports of professors being asked to sign a loyalty oath that promises they support the church's doctrine against gay intimacy and gay marriage, along with creepy and Orwellian new hiring practices and requirements on spouses of prospective faculty, come as the culmination of years of struggle for sexual and gender minority students to be able to just be themselves on campus. So today, let's turn back the clock to when graduating political science student Matt Easton bravely came out in his valedictorian speech, saying, "I'm proud to be a gay son of God," and talk about how the story has developed over time since then. This includes a recap of Mormon Stories episodes 1465 and 1470. Matt was accused of commandeering the platform for his personal agenda, so the first thing I want to show is some clips from his speech so that folks can see how inclusive and affirming it actually was.
Congratulations to each of you for making it here, for pushing through an incredibly difficult, rigorous, and impressive degree at BYU. Congratulations to those who seriously considered dropping out, but who stuck with it. Congratulations to those who tackled the challenge of bearing and raising a child while studying. Congrats to those who were insane enough to get married mid-semester and still somehow survive. And congrats to those of us who are still single and who have made it through 4 years of jokes about when are we going to get married. Congratulations to those who at some point felt alone or afraid or uncertain while here, to those of us who have struggled with our faith, and to those who have strengthened it. Congratulations to my siblings of color, my LGBTQ friends. That's right. To students who are walking with mental illness, to all those who constantly have stood in the face of adversity to make our campus better for future generations. You are seen, you are loved, and today you are here to celebrate.
He went on to tell relatable stories like a hilarious freak accident he got into and then his mom's struggle with cancer. I think that Matt stirred up trouble not just because he came out, but because he did it in a faith-promoting way with the Book of Mormon story.
In the Book of Mormon, Enos is described as having his soul hunger, of crying out to the Lord in mighty prayer and supplication. As I'm sure many of you have felt, I recall countless times here at the Y where I have battled and fought in prayer with my Maker. It was in these quiet moments of pain and confusion that I felt another triumph. That of coming to terms, not with who I thought I should be, but who the Lord has made me to be. As such, I stand before my family, friends, and graduating class today to say that I am proud to be a gay son of God. I am not broken. I am loved and important to the plan of our great Creator.
He continues on with even more faith-promoting messages celebrating all the graduates.
Perhaps there are those of you here today who are afraid or uncertain about how to deal with the unique challenges that you face. I hope that my stories can serve as a reminder that BYU has given us the foundation to face difficult problems, both secular and spiritual, and that the Lord, all things are possible. As I conclude here today, I ask you all to consider, what are you here to celebrate? What are your victories the world needs to know? I can promise that your story is important and your place in this world invaluable. Remember this. As I look around the Marriott Center, I am overwhelmed by the sense of greatness that each of you exude. Among us are future doctors, lawyers, teachers and leaders, mothers and fathers and dreamers and doers, people who will change the world.
Matt's graduation was April 2019, and his wonderful talk is still publicly available on YouTube. Then, LDS Apostle Dr. Jeffrey R Holland brought the hammer down with his famous Musket fire address to BYU faculty and staff in August 2021. In addition to making it explicitly clear that everyone at BYU is expected to stay in line with the top church leaders, especially on doctrine about gender and sexuality, Dr. Holland called out Matt Easton specifically.
So it's with a little scar tissue of our own that we are trying to avoid, and hope all will try to avoid, language and symbols and situations that are more divisive than unifying at the time we want to show love for all of God's children. If a student commandeers a graduation podium intended to represent everyone getting diplomas that day, in order to announce his personal sexual orientation, what might another speaker feel free to announce the next year until eventually anything goes?
Matt had in fact declined to come on Mormon Stories in 2019 because he was still trying to engage as a faithful Latter-day Saint. But by 2021, he was in a different place with his faith, and he came on episode 1470 to respond to Dr. Holland's remarks. Regarding the direct accusations, he said this.
Yeah, it felt like a gut punch, first of all. And second of all, I thought it was such a gross mischaracterization. I mean, like we all know that Elder Holland is a brilliant rhetorician. I mean,
went to Yale.
Yeah, went to Yale. He got his English degree at BYU. I got my English minor at BYU. I know that he knows the impact of his words. And I thought, commandeering, that sounds like I went off the rails and I said something that wasn't approved, and I made it all about myself. And I was just crushed because I thought anyone, people have told me that before, maybe not use the word commandeering, but everyone who said that I was selfish or I made it all about myself or I went off the rails, without exception, none of them actually listened to the talk. And so I hear this and I thought, did he even hear what I said? Did he even ask the dean's office of the College of Family, Home, and Social Sciences? I just thought, he does not have the right information here. And he has misinformation, and he's still calling me out in front of all these faculty who I love and support, and that I want to support me. In just one single sentence, I felt like my reputation had been completely twisted. To be honest, I thought back to my freshman year, and I thought back to Harry Fisher and how alone I felt, and I thought about how undoubtedly there were other queer students who were freshmen at BYU right then who were feeling just as isolated as I did, and probably who were looking around and seeing that the only people like them were the ones taking their life, that were pushed and forced to suicidal thoughts. And so I thought,
that representation thing you said too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I thought, you know what? I am in a place where I can show other queer people like myself that we can be the valedictorian. That not only can we be tolerated at BYU, but we are needed at BYU. The way that I've come out, I've received a lot of love, but I've also received a lot of hate. And especially from people I love, from family members, from my mission president, from people I really care about. But I really believe that I will take that heat and those negative comments for the rest of my life if that means that one less person takes their life. So worth it to me. It is so worth it to me. And I hope, and in fact, people have reached out to me and said that because of the things that I shared at my speech, that it saved them at least for another day. And that's awesome. That's the only agenda that I had.
In the years following that, BYU came under federal investigation for its discrimination against LGBT students, only to then be told that they were exempt from Title IX enforcement because they're a religious institution. This video has shown important historical context for anyone examining BYU's behavior today. In the next video, I'll show Dr. Holland's harmful talk in greater detail, along with the responses from Matt Easton and Kyle Ashworth on Mormon Stories. If you've enjoyed this content, please hit the like and subscribe buttons on YouTube and follow me on TikTok.